They say that people who played Pokemon a lot as a child have a special region in their brain dedicated to recognizing Pokemon. I think that this is why I can't help but constantly think about what Pokemon starter feels most right for me as a person. You have to ask yourself important questions. Does water, grass, or fire match my personality more? Do I like lizards? Would I let this creature sleep in the bed with me, or would that be really, really weird? I have this weird need not to just pick a favorite, but to also justify why no one else could even come close. If you end up with the same favorite as me, I guess that means you win. Okay, also, I've deleted and restarted this like 3 times. This is literally just a video where I go through a bunch of the Pokemon starters and judge them. There's no way I'm posting a video on my main channel where I'm just talking about my favorite Pokemon starter. I debated cutting this down a lot or changing the idea, but no. I want to be true to myself here. I love going through lists of hundreds of creatures and judging them. So there's 29 little dudes here. That is way too many, so I devised a method to kill most of these off immediately. I didn't really play any newer games as a kid. By the time the Nintendo DS came out, I felt like I was too old for Pokemon. So I don't remember anything past like here. Basically, most of these guys get 0 out of 10 for memorability, so they are disqualified. There's one that'll come up later that I like a lot, and I guess you can guess which one that'll be. But generally, if I don't know its name, then it has got to go. What even is this thing? Before we kill these guys, we do have a couple honorable mentions to get through. Piplup is very cute to me because of a bit of propaganda I stumbled upon. The Japanese Pokemon YouTube channel put out this adorable music video with a girl having a wonderful day with her Piplup. This is actually good to start with because this is honestly the best example of what I'm thinking I would want out of a starter. I've probably watched this like 40 times, maybe more than that, I don't even know. This is my dream, honestly. I want Pokemon to cuddle with me at night and for it to get ready with me in the morning and stuff. Then wave around with pom-poms to cheer me up. This video has everything I want out of a Pokemon starter. Cuddliness, 10 out of 10. Hangout ability, 10 out of 10. Cuteness, 7 out of 10. Piplup has a couple flaws, even for cuteness. Piplup actually falls victim to weird character design issues that I can't help but fixate on. Most notably, these white spots on his chest can be read as nipples. Most of the time I don't see it as that, but it is a little distracting. What I really don't like though is this weird fleshy cape that Piplup seems to have. I'm gonna say something gross here. If you owned Piplup, would you need to pull its cape back to wash under it the same way that uncircumcised guys need to pull back their foreskin to clean under there? I'm so sorry for saying that. I really hate this weird cape thing. Anyway, Piplup's final evolution is super ugly, so I don't care about cutting it. I'm not letting this thing in the bed, so we have to kill Piplup. Rowlet is really fucking cute. I would give Rowlet a 9 for cuteness, which is very high. Something about the top part of his beak just creeps me out a tiny bit. Otherwise, it would be a 10, but same story. This thing it turns into is ugly, so it has got to go. These newer Pokemon are so over-designed, and I really hate it. His legs are so long, they scare me. Anyway, this reminds me of something. Have you ever gone to a dim sum restaurant and had or seen chicken feet? They're kind of awkward to eat because you have to basically eat them one toe at a time and spit the bones out as you go. But I swear to God, it's worth it. Anyway, I'm just bringing this up to explain that the best thing we could probably get out of Rowlet would be its feet. The worst one of all of these is probably this guy. Doesn't look like anything, and it evolves into this thing. It's boring and ugly. There's no way that this is anyone on the planet's favorite. If this was about finding the Pokemon that I'd most want to hunt, like with a gun, then this thing would be up there. The more I think about it, the more I hate it. Okay, one thing to note is that I've been sitting on the script for a while as I write and rewrite and analyze my deep opinions on these Pokemon. I've been thinking about this so much between editing the script that I've actually come around to loving hating this one. I even know its name now, Chespin. I think that's how you say it. If I remake this video in a year, there is actually a very slight chance that he might win if this turns into sort of a weird love. But for now, I still mostly hate it. So yeah, I came back to the script again later and my mind changed again. So never mind. I've been sitting on the script for a few weeks now and somehow I've come around to loving this one. He's just so stupid, but like in a cute way. I even love his middle evolution now. This is just like a stupid mole creature, but I realized that makes it kind of more relatable for me. I always feel like some sort of stupid mole creature. This final evolution is still one of the worst in the entire series though, so we can still kill it. Fuecoco is a real shame. I almost love its final evolution. Here, I need to introduce my bonus score for reptiles. Fuecoco actually gets a 2x multiplier for this because I love alligators. He almost looks perfect, but then he turns into this thing. I don't know if he's supposed to be an airplane or something. If this was just a fire alligator, I would be in love. There's also an alligator in Animal Crossing that looks like a train, so I don't know what is going on in Japan. Why must alligators be means of transportation? Weird. So yeah, I just generally don't like most of these guys. All of them are only cute for like 20 minutes before they evolve. So by cutting all of those guys out, we now only have 11 remaining. Now, things are difficult. There's definitely a part of me that loves every single one of these guys. Torchic was my very first starter on a Pokemon game. I don't think I really like it anymore. I wrote all that stuff about chicken feet earlier before remembering that one of them would be an actual chicken, but that feels too mean here anyway. I just want to ignore Torchic and leave it in peace. We're going to leave it in the trash where it belongs. Mudkip is maybe the cutest starter, but Swampert looks like it's melting, so we can eliminate it. Okay, actually, I'll admit, that's not why. I have a personal vendetta against Mudkip. When we were around 8 years old, my best friend and I were playing Pokemon together for the very first time. Like, we started a new game and we were going through the beginning of the game, prompt by prompt, at the exact same time. This is really cute for me to remember now. We both got Ruby and started getting the different versions because we were dumbasses. Anyway, we get to the starter selection screen, and he's really interested in seeing what I end up deciding to get for my very first Pokemon starter. I distinctly remember this moment where I was cycling through every single one and then backing out. I could hardly choose because they were all so cute to me that it was overloading my tiny child brain. I decided that fire sounded cooler than water or grass, so I went with Torchic. This was a big moment. After watching the show for years, I finally had my first ever Pokemon. As soon as my best friend saw that I chose Torchic, he said, okay, I'm getting this one then. And then he chose Mudkip. He did the exact same thing your rivals do in the game. They choose whatever will counter you. That's the only reason he chose Mudkip, to have a type advantage against me. So with love, I still think of Mudkip as the Pokemon for little shithead third graders. We're not killing Mudkip, we're just gonna punt it away. The next one that is easy for me to eliminate is Charmander. I kind of like it, but he's just so popular that he feels boring. He's also too much of a little bitch. Like, I remember the show where he was just so sad being left alone on his own. I want a Pokemon with more fun depictions of them instead of it just being a sad little baby. So I guess if I was Charmander's owner, I'd also have to abandon it out in the rain. I need to eliminate a couple more because of their ugly final evolutions now. Trico is fucking awesome. He's the only one of these starters who would definitely smoke weed with you. He has this little branch in his mouth. It would be the most natural thing in the world if it was a tiny little joint instead. The hangout ability with Trico is off the charts. Also, Trico has one of the coolest shiny versions I've ever seen. Not many shiny Pokemon completely change the color scheme to have multiple contrasting colors like this. I don't know. Trico is just amazing. But what the fuck is this? If I were to never evolve my Pokemon, Trico would honestly be dangerously close to the top. There's an interesting balance here to strike. I need to like the starter enough to obsess over it a bunch and buy some sort of adorable plushie, but it can't evolve into anything too fucking ugly in the games if I actually wanted to play using it. I dislike this thing enough that I just wouldn't want it in my party. I know you could just never evolve it in the game, but that feels like a bit of a cop-out here. You are intended to evolve them, so I guess we also have to abandon poor Trico. Here's another one that just makes me sad. Again, I love alligators. When I was a kid, I had this little alligator thing that I would always doodle on all my assignments at school. Even today, I still catch myself doodling this weird little alligator with glasses and a hat sometimes. If there was a Pokemon starter that was an alligator that was actually cute, it would probably be my favorite forever. My main problem with Totodile is actually his weird eyes. What is going on here? It's like he has this weird sunken void, and then his actual eyes are just kind of jutting out impossibly. Also, what he turns into are some of the ugliest starter evolutions in the entire series. This one just really hurts my feelings. Now that there's been 2 alligator-type starter Pokemon, I don't think there's ever going to be another. I could never decide if I liked Eevee that much. It looks like it would shit all over the house. I don't see any benefits in Eevee over like a normal dog. I know there's all these evolutions, but again, I'd rather have a poodle. And I don't even like poodles that much or anything. There's way more poodle mixes, and I'm sure some of them are just as ethically questionable as Pokemon are. You can get a golden doodle, or a cockapoo, or a labradoodle, or a sheepadoodle. And as I'm saying this just sounds like a way more fun evolution line than the stupid Eevees. Now, it's difficult. From here on out, I'm having a pretty difficult time. I really like all of these. If it weren't for final evolutions, I would like so many more of these. But now, we have to face the Pikachu problem. I love Pikachu. It is so cute, and Pikachu won't evolve unless you really want it to. But even if you did, Raichu is actually adorable. Realistically, if we were to transport into the Pokemon universe, I would choose Pikachu as my starter and we would be bros forever. But this is not the Pokemon world. This is the real world. I want to be able to buy some cute stuff for my chosen favorite starter Pokemon. I don't want to get any Pikachu stuff because he is essentially a logo on the same level as McDonald's. Pikachu's propaganda rating is a straight 10, which is too high. There's a sweet spot between having merch available and having too much of it. Pikachu has way too much. I feel the same emotions looking at Pikachu as I do looking at the McDonald's logo. This is so sad, but I have to eliminate Pikachu. I actually wrote this entire thing and realized I forgot about Bulbasaur. I mean, I didn't even realize I forgot. I asked my friend Real Pixels what his favorite Pokemon was, and it was Bulbasaur. And it was only then that I realized, oh shit, I forgot about Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur was one of my favorites for a time. Even today, I still want to get one of those little Bulbasaur planters. In terms of merchandise I want, Bulbasaur is like a 10 out of 10. Bulbasaur is also one of the rare instances of me actually liking the entire evolution line. The problem with Venusaur is this big flower tree thing. I don't think this thing could cuddle with me on the couch or while watching TV without getting plant matter everywhere. I would even let Eevee sleep in the bed with me and get fur everywhere, but I draw the line at bits of old leaves and pollen and stuff. Bulbasaur would be like a good slave, which is all most Pokemon really are. It could reach anything in the fridge, so you could literally go into this fetchy drinks and stuff. But I don't want a slave, so we're moving on. Bulbasaur also made me realize I just completely forgot about Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is almost the perfect starter. I love his weird nose. I think it's cute at every stage, and Typhlosion somehow pulls off looking cute and cool to me. Cyndaquil is actually maybe my favorite in my heart. There's just one problem. Its design does not transfer well to merch at all. I've never wanted to buy anything with Cyndaquil on it because his fire isn't ever going to look good on a plushie or anything. This just kind of looks weird. So I don't know. If I'm playing the actual game, Cyndaquil is probably my favorite, but the love ends there. I'm not setting my desktop wallpaper to Cyndaquil. Okay. That made me just look up a list, and I realized I also forgot about Chikorita. Up until now, this has kind of been in order of how much I like them, but Chicky is a special case. I fucking hate this thing. This is an incredibly interesting scenario where the first Pokemon in this evolution line is super ugly, but the final version is one of my favorites overall. But I can't bond with this weird little peanut thing. Chikorita gets thrown in the trash. Okay, now here's my big reveal. This thing, which I couldn't remember the name of initially while writing the script, is actually one of my favorites. Its name is Popplio. After looking at all of these Pokemon over and over again, I couldn't lie to myself any longer. I even eventually remembered its name. I love Popplio. This thing is not very popular for some reason. I could hardly find any art or any shit at all to buy for Popplio. We need hashtag justice for Popplio. Popplio gets a 0 out of 10 propaganda rating. We need to pump that up. It turns into this mermaid thing, which I also actually like. Popplio wins in so many ways. There's hardly any good-looking final evolutions, but Popplio is not going to be crowned my favorite starter. The only problem with Popplio is that its final evolution is... This mermaid is too sexy. Popplio gets a 10 out of 10 on cuteness, but this mermaid thing gets an 11 out of 10 on sexiness. I want my starter Pokemon to be something I can cuddle with, and this feels like it would just be awkward. She is legit intimidating. I'm not gonna cuddle with my Pokemon if that means using my hands to embrace her sexy seal torso. So I can't say that Popplio is a terrible starter or anything, but confronting how I would feel having this mermaid in real life makes me feel terrible. Okay, so my favorite starter, and maybe my favorite Pokemon in general now, is Squirtle. He's a 10 out of 10 in almost everything. Personality, 10 out of 10. Sexiness, 0 out of 10, which is what I want. I don't know what the personality of like the other Pokemon is supposed to be, but I do remember the Squirtle squad from when I was little. Cuteness, 10 out of 10. Merch, 10 out of 10. Squirtle has the benefit of being so popular that you can buy stuff with his face on it anywhere, but he doesn't feel popular enough to feel like the McDonald's logo. Squirtle gets a 9 out of 10 for evolutions. Wartortle is somehow even cuter than Squirtle. You don't see that very often. And Blastoise he's fine. I would actually let him stay in my party if I was playing the game, and that's kind of saying a lot. I mean, he's no sexy mermaid, you know? I mean, I would definitely rather have the sexy mermaid than Blastoise, but I already got a Squirtle plushie. Okay, no, this is so fucked up. I looked up the sexy mermaid's name, which I guess is Primarina on Etsy, and I got the most cursed result possible as the second result. I'm so pissed because I didn't save pictures of it and the Etsy listing was unfortunately removed. It was this little statue of a Pokemon called Zorua. I guess that must be new because I don't know what that is, but it was naked and it was posed in a very suggestive way. I don't know, like what... I think it was nude. It had these weird little censor bars that were like anime girl faces. Anyway, I probably couldn't even show it on YouTube anyway, but trust me, it was very suggestive. That's the kind of thing that algorithms have decided that Primarina fans would be into. In contrast, when I looked up Squirtle on Etsy, it was just a bunch of adorable Squirtle squad stuff. If someone says that Poplio is their favorite starter, they're probably a total freak. All of this sexiness got in the way of another thing that I did want to point out, which is that Wartortle is the cutest middle evolution of any other Pokemon. I love that he is like a little angry and has little sharp teeth now, but that also comes with these adorable little blushy cheeks. That's so cute. Most importantly, he is not sexy at all. Even Brionne is a little sexy. Look, okay, I just want to stop talking about how sexy the Pokemon starters are. Look, Squirtle wins. Thank you for watching. Who do you think the sexiest Pokemon starter is?
Where's everyone going? Bingo?